I was 20 years old running away from home when I heard the news. I was on State Route 6 driving through bumfuck nowhere, and here I am still running. The cool radio DJ, talking like some 60s hipster. Kick back, cowboy, you'll get there eventually. Take a long drag and let this tune soothe your mood. With the nagging of the novelty DJ, I decided it was time I finally headed back. Back for her. I was born in December 1989, or so I'm told. I don't remember being there. I hate the feeling of not remembering an event, especially one so important. I was there, in that hospital, and I was somewhere else, a whole gap in between. Life is like a bunch of rooms connected by dotted lines. It's best not to think about the how or why. Hopefully you find that you like one of the rooms you're in. Along my way back to the city, I happened upon an old house. The date on the foundation stated it finished its completion in 1897. I decided to stay there a while and rest. I sat in the shade of the house. As the barometric pressure dropped, the house expanded, its boards stretching, as if waking from a long sleep. The house was so old, in fact, any slight change in atmosphere would upset it and cause the house to emit an endless groan. The house complained ceaselessly as I laid about. Over 100 years of grievances it held within. This piece of Americana history was just the thing she used to go mad over. I left the relic sad with history and continued on my way. I arrived in the city finally. I collected my thoughts and formulated a plan. I must not arouse any attention. First it was the money, then the call, and finally a visit to her. The money was easy, but the call proved to be a problem. Who was still left? Big Suze, Anne, Scuzzy Roy, Sloane? Finally, I reached somebody. It was Anne, and she had her address. I quickly wrote it down, but before I visited her, I needed to collect a few things. Dozen tulips, frosted animal crackers, and her favorite book. These things could be found in the center of the big city, so I headed there. My mind was completely exhausted, devoid of any thoughts. However, I became nervous and I decided to take a walk around. I didn't know what I was going to say. I found myself at this Soldiers and Sailors Monument, an ideal place to think. The monument consisted of a 125-foot black Quincy granite shaft erected on a square base, constructed of rough-hewn granite blocks, trimmed in sandstone and housing a memorial building. The shaft divided by 6 carved bands, which lists the names of battles in which Cuyahoga soldiers fought, and is topped with a bronze statue of the Goddess of Liberty, signifying loyalty to the United States. 4 bronze groupings and its base depict the 4 branches of the Union Army: the Navy, the Cavalry, the Infantry, and the Artillery. Inside the memorial building are a series of marble tablets listing 9,000 Civil War veterans. The monument was the child of Levi Schofield, who in addition designed many more buildings around Cleveland, all of which were insane asylums, prisons, and graveyards. She had moved, Anne had said. Her parents had gotten a hold of some money from a long-lost relative. I had her address, I had the gifts, and I finally had something to say. There she was, and here I am. Her rosy cheeks and sad eyes. What details does one have to admire to take another prisoner in the prison of the mind? I was 24, working a shit job, failing my classes, and alone. I'm sure she would be disappointed in me. It wasn't fair. She never even had a chance to fail. She was still that sweet girl I knew the summer after high school, and I hated her, because she was still a child and had exposed me for what I still am, a child, hit by a 67-year-old woman that had fallen asleep at the wheel. The old woman was fine. She wasn't even insured. 2 years later, while killing some time in Boston, a letter forwarded to my address appeared on my doorstep. It simply said, "I'm sorry." I walked down the pier, my back to the world and vast nothingness in front of me. Anyone that has had the misfortune of being unhappy knows that time is elongated to an unbearable pace, and that the luxury of comfort is that time passes much quicker. Time had been at a standstill for me. It was like a dream, a collage of past coincidences, trifle childhood meanderings and untruths. What kind of strange theater dreams are, I thought, where one is director, writer, actor, cinematographer, and editor, all at once.